Hey guys, have you been struggling on how to make your own pieces skirt? You have been thinking of how can I make it? So as a beginner, you're watching this video, you're like, oh, I can just sew straight line, but I want to put two things together to make a skirt. Yes, this tutorial is for you. This tutorial is beginners friendly. A subscriber reached out to me on she wants me to make a pieces skirt tutorial. So brackets, all pieces skirt tutorial. So we have the 4 piece, we have the 6, we have the 8 piece skirt tutorial. Now, if you go back to 10, 12, 15 years ago, I know people right now, the Gen Z might not be familiar with 4 piece skirt tutorial because most people don't really make it. So, but if you go back our mother's time, you see that they make 4 piece skirt tutorial. Why do they make 4 piece skirt? It's actually fabric friendly. It doesn't consume a lot of fabric, and it still give you the effect of that, that flare that you want at that down part. It also give you the effect. So if you have been struggling, yeah, this tutorial is for you. So before we go over to tutorial, hi, my name is Okogen and you're welcome to my channel. Please do well to subscribe to this channel, be part of this big family, be part of this community, be part of this academy. Also like and share. When you like my video, you help send a message to YouTube, and it also boosts my algorithm. So YouTube will recommend this video to other people, which will also be useful to them and also be beneficial to them. Share this video to someone if you want the person to be part of this family. So let's go over to it. We have basic measurements that we'll be using for this. Sorry, I'm carrying this in, but let me show you. For the basic measurement as a beginner, please watch this. Why I said you shouldn't miss any parts. You will need a string or a rope or something to tie on your waist. So let's measure. Let me do the measurement for you. For an intermediate student, they already know what they will need, basically. So let me put this. This is where I wear my skirt. So you have to tie this string. If you don't have a string and you have to tape, that's what I'm showing. If you have to tape, tie one of the tape here. So this is where I wear my skirt. So let me put this here. This is where I wear my skirt. So this is where my measurement will start. And then I'll get a piece. So when you get a piece of paper, fold it here. Now, you'll be measuring, as a beginner, as you're measuring, you're writing down. You take this tape, right? Now, this tape, this is where your skirt is. You take the tape and you put it around where your skirt is. So depending if you want yours to be tight or if you want yours to be free, you can release it. So for me, let me say, I want mine to be very firm. So my waist is 34. So I'll go right here and write waist 34. So that I'm sure of the waist. And then I take the tape. Now, let me turn this way. So there's a fuller part of your hip. If you check your hip measurement, there is a fuller part. So let me show you the trick. You can actually bend like this to get the fuller part. You see where I'm pointing? You can bend to get the fuller part. You take this string, you place it here, you measure it. You see? And then when you look here, you see 11. So if yours is waist to hip 11. So if you have maybe if you're tall, you can play within 10, 11. If you are short, 9, depending on where your waist skirt is starting. So if my waist skirt is starting here, this point, I will actually play with 9. You get, so depending on where your waist. So as a beginner, that's why I'm making this video so that you can measure yourself and write your measurements. You take this tape again and you place it here, which is the beginning part. Now I want this tape to get to my knee, but I don't want it to be in my knee. I want it to be before my knee, which is at this point here, right? But now this is the thing. So I'll place it like this. So I can see that my knee is actually showing between 25. So if I'm taking 2 inches from 25, that means I will have 23. So I can do waist to knee. I can do 23. I might do 23.5. I might do 23. Then I will do my waist to floor measurement. Already I know my waist to floor measurement. But for beginner, so let me take the camera back so that you can see. So for a beginner, you put it here. You put your tape so that your tape can be straight. So my tape is straight. Now you are supposed to stand a bit up, because if you are wearing heel, if your heel is 1 inch, you're supposed to add that 1 inch to your gown. Why you see some people, especially when it's pencil gown and they wear heel and the gown looks like it's jumping, like it's not their perfect length. So you're supposed to add to the length, because probably you're not going to be putting on slippers to go out. You're going to put on heels. So for now, my waist to my length, I use 45, right? But because it's an A line, I want to wear like a tiny heel. So I will take it up. Now, if I take it up, let me push it down so you see. If I take it up, you'll see that it's almost 47. It's no longer 45. So I will do waist to floor 47. So this is what an A-line skirt looks like. So this is the waist, this is the hip, this is the knee, and this is the waist to the floor measurement, which we took. And at this part, there is another flare. So this is the middle part. So making it 1, 2, and the back 1, 2. So you can determine your width of your skirt that you want. You can determine the flare, your width. So your fabric measurement. So let's take 3 yards. Let's say you assume you're using 3 yards of fabric and you want the 3 yards to be complete. So we have like they are lesser like, so we have high grade Ankara. Those are like 36 yards. Then we have the ones that are like 34. So you have to measure your Ankara to be sure. So let's assume it is 36. So you have 36. 36 times 3 yards. So you have about 100 and you have about 108 or so. That should be the measurement. So you'll be needing 108. So if you're dividing this 108 by 4, assuming it's 108, you do like 25, 25, 25, 25, making it 100. So like 25 here, 25 here. You can also do, let's say you want to get more fabric for the top of the dress or for the blouse. Now, if you do 20, that means 20, 20, 20, 20. That is 40 at the front, 40 at the back, make it 80. You'll be left with 28. 28 length for the front to be able to cut the upside of the blouse. Now is what I'm trying to teach you. So let's assume this is 25 inches we are doing. So we have 25 here, we have 25 here. So let's go to the drafting. Now I'm using a pattern paper because I don't want to use the fabric first. I don't confuse people that are beginners. So you get your pattern paper, and in your pattern paper you fold it into 2. Likewise, you get your fabric, you fold it into 2. Please, if you're a beginner, practicalize the pattern before you fold it in your fabric so you don't waste it. So when you fold it into 2, you get a ruler. Now let me get this ruler. Now you measure from the edge of the fabric down. You measure like 8 inch. So let's assume this is 8 inch. Let's assume this is 8 inches. We'll rule it out. So this is 8 inches. Now you rule it out. And now you take your measurements from here. So you take your waist divided by 4, which is, if your waist is 34, you do 34 divided by 4. So your waist divided by 4, you mark it. Let's assume this is the waist divided by 4, you mark it. You take your waist to your hip length, you mark it here. At this point, for the front part, this is, I didn't take the hip measurement, but the hip measurement for this is, for the measurement, let me use my green pen. The hip we're using is 45.5. Let's just assume it's 46, but let's assume it's 46. So 46 in 4 parts is 11.5 inches. Is 11.5 inches. But for the front part of your drafting, you will be minusing 1. So 46 minus 1 equals to 45. So you add this 1 at the back for your boat allowance. So you allocate it behind. So for the front, we take 1 inch. So let's assume it's 45 we're working for. So we'll divide 45 by 4. So your hip, if your hip is 42, you minus 1. Then you divide 41 by 4. That's what you take here. So now you take your hip measurement. Let's assume this is the hip measurement you mark. You take your waist to your, let me use the tape so that you take your waist to your knee measurement. Let's assume this is waist to knee measurement you mark. And then the measurement you have here, you minus 1 from it if you don't want it so tight at your knee. But if you want it so tight, please, you take out 1.5. So let's assume we're taking out 1. So let me see what we have here. We're taking out 1. So now you connect this. Now I've connected this to get here. So what you're going to do is from this point, you will slant it out. You slant it out. Be reminded that what we are working at, the distance we are working at here is 25. So that means it is 50, but on fold is 25. Because so in that 25, you take out 8 inches. You take out 8 inches, you rule a line, and then from that point, you take out your waist, you take out your hip, your knee, and the length. So at this point now, we want to add allowance because we didn't add allowance. So if you want your allowance to be 1 inch, you add it. There's no that. So if you want it to be 1 inch, if you want it to be 1.5, you can add your allowance. If you want your sewing allowance, you can add it. So I'm adding 1.5. So let's assume this is 1.5. You're adding that 1.5 to here. Now, you're adding that 1.5 to here. And then here, you slant it out back again to it. So this is what you have for the front. Now, for this, your knee measurement. Let me roll it out. So this knee measurement, which you have taken here, from this point to here, which is here, you slant it to meet here. So you slant it to meet here. And then you come up here by 1 inch. You come up here by 1 inch. So let's assume from here to here is 1 inch. I'll be doing it on the fabric. Here to here is 1 inch. I'm doing this so that you can also understand. So this is what we have as the A-line skirt. So for this middle point, because we're going to be joining it, you can add 1 point, and you can add half an inch allowance here, right? Because we want to join it. You go ahead to cut it out. So this is what the front is looking like. So if you put it, by the time you join here, let me show you what it looks like. So by the time you join here together, you see, you have like a flare at this middle part. Now, if you want to keep yours, you don't want yours to be joined, like you don't want this part to be joined. You want to put a slit. Now you want to be creative. You want to put a slit. You can determine where you want your slit to, from here to here, where you want your slit to start. And from there, you can just, let's assume you want your slit to start from here. So by the time you sew here, you have here open. You get. So let me do the back side. This is the back. Now, let's assume this is the 8 inches for the back. So 8 inches for the back. Now, we are placing this point. Let me do this is the name. We're placing this now for the back. So the back now, at this point, there is going to be zip allowance. So you're going to put zip at this point. So you can, now we have already add half an inch here. But now we want to take for the zip allowance, and we want to take for the allocation that we have taken at, which is the 1 inch. We want to take it back. Let me use this scissors and hold it down so that it doesn't move. So now what you're going to do is to get your tape for the back side. Now at this point, you're already taking out your half an inch. So this is the hip line, right? So from this point here, you'll be adding the allowance you want for your zip. So for this point, let's assume I want our zip allowance to be 1 inch. So we'll mark 1 inch. We'll go to the hip side. We'll mark the waist side, sorry, we'll mark 1 inch. Now for the butt allocation, you can add, since it's 1 inch I've taken, so half inch on both sides. So you add half inch on both sides. Now you understand. So from here to here is 1 inch for the zip. From here to here is the butt allocation. Now you want to take, you put 1 inch here. So this point here, there's already half an inch you have taken. You can still use it for the joining of the back. So you don't really need to like put 1 inch because the zip is not getting to the knee part. I'm making this video, like I said, for those who are novice into this. So from here, you connect it like so. So let me put it like this. So I'll go ahead to like curve it a bit. So you see, this place will make your butt to really sit properly. Now, this is just it. So you see, I've added all the allowance I need to add at the side. The only allowance we're adding is just the back side, which is this for the back side. So if your fabric is long and you want to do a godet now, for this one, the fabric here, let's assume the fabric is the same thing. But if you want your fabric to, if your fabric is longer than, let's say your fabric is 60 inches, so that means you have an extra, you can go ahead to like extend this one out and then push it down. So make like a godet at the back side. So this is for people that their fabric is longer and you want to extend it to make a godet. If your fabric is longer and this is the length of your, so that you still have an extra, you can go ahead to like from this point, from this point, you can make, where's my scissors? From this point, you can extend here out. Now you see what I'm doing. You extend it out, and from this point here, which is, so this point and this point is equal. So now you see that there's a tiny godet for, so the back will have like a bit of a flare at the downside. So, but you make sure that this point is equal. So you go ahead to cut it out. So what I have here is 3 yards of fabric. I have 3 yards of fabric, and on fold, like I said, 25 inches. I folded it 25 inches. So I'll go ahead to mark here the 8 inches I want to take. So this is the 8 inches I've taken. So I'm going to be drafting here. Like I said when I was making the video, I said the length of this is, let me check the length. The length of this is 45, and my length is more than 45. Mine is 47. So I want to make mine 48, right, with the joining of the band. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to measure like 3 inches out. And that 3 inches I'm measuring out, the band is going to be 3 inches. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying. So my band is going to be 3 inches, or my band can be 2.5 inches. So when I join it, it will be like my 47 that I want to be the length. So let's start the measurements. Now this part, which is the 8 inches, I'm going to fold it in. So for the waist measurement is 8.5 inches. I'll add my allowance, which is 1.5. Now for the waist to hip measurement is 2.5. I'm taking out. So waist to the hip is 11. So I'll put 2.5 there and I'll mark here as 11. I'll take the hip divided by 4 and add the one. Sorry, I'm taking out 1 inch from here. So this is it. From the hip side, I'm taking out that 1 inch, and this is 1.5 inch. So I'll do waist to knee. Let me check my measurements book so that I'm sure. So now I'm still going to still add that 1.5. And then from this point here, I'm going to take it straight down. I'm taking the allowance that I want to put for the joining. To get a curve, I want to get a curve slant up. So now I'll start cutting this part. So this is the front side. So for the butt allocation, I'll come here from this point. I'm taking from, not this allowance I'm adding, from this point, I'm taking 1 inch. So let's assume I'm taking 1.5 for zip. Let me make it as a beginner. No beginner, they like allowance. So let me do a beginner style. 1.5 inch because for the zipper. So this is the zip allowance I'm taking. And the zip allowance I'm taking is 1.5 inch. Now I'll take half an inch for the butt allocation. Right? So from here to here, we should be having 2.5 inch, which is which we're having 2 inches, which is 1.5 and 1 inch. You can make yours. Let's assume you want the butt to actually be fuller. You can still increase it. Let's say from here you're taking 1 inch. You can still make that and it will still work. So from here, I'll slant it to meet this point, and then I'll take it. So this is for, where's my, where you see I have like a space for the butt to actually sit. So now I'll go ahead to cut everything out. So this is the back. So I notch important parts. So I'll mark here that this is the back so that I don't have issues while joining. So we'll go over to the sewing part. So we have come to the end of this tutorial. The sewing part is going to be another part. It's going to be another tutorial in itself because of beginners. So we've come to the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share if you find this part helpful. And also watch out for part 2 because after I upload this part 1, I'll be uploading the part 2, which will be the sewing part. Now let me